Good.
Now we're recording.
Yeah. Woof.
On-
Woof.
Well, listen, it's been a journey to get here, huh?
A whole big journey over multiple days now. And we are doing this in one take.
We hope, barring any massive screw ups.
I'm pretty hell-bent on it. I'm pretty hell-bent on this being a one-taker. And even if that shows how shitty we are at our job.
Okay, great. Listen, I'm all for letting everyone in on the secret.
Yeah, this is the inside. We're recording it. So when this publishes, it will be like directly after we finish because big time tech issues. And this time you were away from home. So it's not like that it was really fixable because your computer just flat out said, fuck you, I'm broken.
Yes. Yes.
So that's good.
Well, also, I am now sitting in a shed recording. So if you hear ambient forest and or murder shed noises, that's what that's about. But other than that, yeah, my computer said, fuck you, I'm not going to work. But then it turns out it was just the cord. Easy little fix.
Great.
Yeah.
Glad to hear it. Yeah. That's all. But it's not like you could just run over here and come record because you're out of town. So it was like a complete perfect clusterfuck of issues.
Big time. And now my phone's effed, but listen, that's a problem for another day. What are we talking about
for another day?
Today?
I'm talking to you about butterflies.
Cute. Oh, precious. Yeah. Well, as a complete 180 from that, I'm talking to you about nightmares.
Lit! Oh, that's cool. That's awesome.
It is going to be, because of everything just kind of going on, it's going to be more of a conversational topic, but I do have points that I want to hit on. I have some questions I'd like to ask you. We're going to get deep. We're going to get weird a little bit.
Okay.
And then of course at the end there are some spellcraft options for those of us who struggle with the nightmare problem.
Perfect for a live episode.
Yes. But we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. All I can think about is nightmare bag.
I forgot about that, but yeah, we're going to make a little nightmare bag at the end of this.
Oh, so, like a little dream protection sachet.
Oh, you know it, baby.
Lit. I get those. Those make sense to me.
Let's see. So it looks like last time Mace went first with Epsom salts. So I guess I'll kick into I'll kick off the nightmares.
Real quick, just some quickie announcements.
Shit.
So the prints are shipping out tomorrow. They're finalizing, being packed up today. Yeah, did we wait for like 15 fucking days for the shipping materials to show up? It took so long.
It took so long, and you kept asking me if they got in, and I kept going, I have to look at that, and then it just evaporated.
Yeah, you never did tell me whether or not they were in, and I just had to go find them. But they are in.
They did take so much longer.
They took like 2 weeks to come in. Yeah. And so that was why everything's a week behind. Like we said last episode, they were going to go out, but they are going to go out tomorrow. I'm going to finish getting them all up and ready. They're getting dropped off and on their way. You probably should have gotten shipping notifications when the labels were printed because that shit's all done. So be on the lookout for those coming. They are coming at you. And also wait, at the end of this episode, we're going to talk about On a Hottest Purpose for a minute because we got some cool news. Cool lit news.
So stay tuned for that hot, dope, fresh, and hottest purpose news. Macy, you ever had a nightmare?
I have had a nightmare. I don't get them often, really, but I typically remember them when I have them because I don't get them very often and I hate them.
Okay. Do you have one that sticks out? Do you have like a most intense nightmare?
Yes, absolutely. It's the one with the guy in the shower.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you missed it, it's one of those super crazy realistic nightmares.
Yeah. Have I told it on the show? I feel like I have. But yeah, I mean, essentially it was one of those dreams to where everything's exactly where it's supposed to be. So it's like it doesn't have that weird kind of thing to where it's like, oh, the house looks the same, but like the walls are a different color or something. Like it was like everything was exactly the way that it was. And it was just like middle of the night, do what you got to do, go up to pee, middle of the night. So it was like everything just got out of bed. I was just like walked over, went to the bathroom, facing the shower curtain, and then a hand comes and pulls the shower curtain, and this just normal looking with a clear face, which is what's kind of weird, but like a crystal clear, completely rendered human pulls the curtain away and is there with just like a knife and like a grin, like this just nasty, like gotcha bitch grin. And I completely bailed from the task at hand and run into the bedroom yelling at Hunter like there's a guy in the apartment. And this is when we lived in the apartment, and Hunter got out of bed and fought this man to death. And in the dream.
Yes.
And it was so clear though, because everything was just right. Except if I recall in the dream, there was like a sweet ass, like a 2-man combo to where like, because just like in real life, I had some pepper spray that was sitting on the windowsill by the bed. And in the dream, like I grabbed it and told him to duck, like shut your eyes, like told Hunter to shut his eyes, and I maced this guy. And that's when Hunter stabbed him to death.
Oh God. Okay, a few things with this. I love the phrase Hunter fought him to death. He fought him to
death while naked too.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That was an element
in the dream.
Can we end more sentences with, and that's when Hunter stabbed him.
Yeah, that's when Hunter stabbed him to death. It was wild though. I mean, and it was so vivid and so clear. And that's one that like I always remember, as well as the first nightmare I had to where Rustin's head turned into a light bulb shape.
I remember that. I remember you telling us about that vividly. And of course, because me and Russ were little shits, we thought it was hilarious. I remember his head's a light bulb. I have a couple of reoccurring nightmares. I've talked about them on the podcast. I've got the tornado reoccurring nightmare and the no one's listening to, like I can't fight somebody or they won't listen to me.
Oh God. Yes.
Shit. You're trying to achieve a task or achieve something and you can't for some reason. I know some, not myself, but some people, this comes in the form of like, you try to run, but you can't run.
Luckily for me, so the vast majority of and I even have a hard time calling them nightmares, but I would just call them bad dreams, typically involve my natural flight response and involve me needing to take off into woods or just away, like finding escape. And so that's usually, luckily I can typically run very well in my dreams because most of my bad dreams involve me running away.
That sounds awful.
It is, but at least you can run, like I can at least move. And sometimes like in the dreams, like I get away and other times it's like you get somewhere and then you're spotted and you just got to keep running. And so those are the nights you wake up and you literally just feel like you ran all
You're just sweating.
long. Yeah, you just ran.
Do you remember the episode of SpongeBob where in SpongeBob's driving school, there's a new student called Flats and he's the flatfish and all day he's like, I'm going to kick your butt.
Yes.
Yes. And SpongeBob is all terrified all day long because he's going to get his ass handed to him by this guy. And the time comes and the dude just starts wailing on him. And because SpongeBob's a sponge, he just absorbs the blows and nothing happens. That is how I fight in dreams. Like life or death situations, I have to fight. I have to fight someone physically. And I just give little baby slaps that do nothing.
I hate that. That's awful.
It is so frustrating.
That's awful. That's just the worst.
So frustrating. Okay, but I don't really think of those as nightmares either. They are just uncomfortable dreams. The biggest one to me is the tornado because they just scare me shitless. And you know what? As I've gotten older, I've noticed a trend over the past couple of years. Alligators are becoming big in my nightmares.
You're just like Archer. That's hysterical.
Great. Great.
I have no qualms, no issues at all with alligators. None.
I don't love them. I don't wanna be, like, in a river full of them, but I don't know why in my dreams they just and it's always the same. It's never like they're really out to get me. It's like somebody accidentally opens a door or a window breaks and some alligators just slide in on accident.
As they do, you know.
Yeah. And then they're in my house or whatever. Okay, but
Wow.
what got me thinking about nightmares as sort of a topic is I had a nightmare last night.
Mm.
And I'll briefly go through it, but listening to nightmares or dreams in general is always a little tedious, because the person telling them, it's like you're recalling it as you're telling the story. And because
Right.
what?
Well, and yeah, and I get what you mean, because it's like it's also like it didn't happen to you and it didn't really happen at all. And so it's just kind of a weird
Right.
thing to tell and also sit through.
Yeah, to
Because you
talk
can't
about.
always imagine, you can't imagine what happened.
Well, the thing is, it's like when you dream, you also get to experience the emotions. So you feel
Right.
the fear of whatever's
Mhm.
happening. And a lot of times our emotions and dreams are totally out of whack. Like you'll wake up and you'll be like, "Why did I have a dream where I felt the most scared I have ever felt in my life because of a pencil?"
Right.
Like it's
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
stupid. And
Yeah.
when you try to tell somebody, it just comes off like, "I had this nightmare, dude. Yeah, it was crazy, man. I was scared of a pencil."
I
And
get
then
it
it just
though.
doesn't
Like I've had that
fit
happen, like
right.
moments of like being ripped out of a dream by something mundane, but you wake up terrified. It's like you saw
Yeah.
something and it just absolutely floored you with a like an adrenaline response, but it was nothing.
A pencil. Mine was not a pencil.
It's so dumb.
Mine was, and
Mm,
I'll try to I will give a little bit of there's some spooky imagery here. It's not too bad, of course, to me.
mm,
And then when I
mm,
woke up in the middle of the night and I'm just like, I need to go to the bathroom, but I can't because I'm too scared because I know
mhm,
that like it's gonna get me. But in my dream, there was somebody who was an organ donor and
mm,
they had not quite passed away, but they were not going to come back from the state they were in, right?
mhm,
And they ended up donating their eyeballs to somebody, which is great, wonderful. Everybody be organ donors, okay?
mhm.
But I don't know, I think there's just something very lizard brain about us as people just with our eyes. We're very protective of our eyes. Like the number one
Sure.
fear I think after death is like losing your eyes in some way or hurting your eyes. It's just because that's how we perceive. That's like a lot of our number one senses, is just how we see the world
Mhm,
is to physically see the world. So that to me was already kind of, I don't know why in that dream it was so creepy to me, but this person had a relative who was putting up a fight. They did not want this person to donate their eyeballs because they were convinced that
okay.
this person was going to wake up out of their coma or whatever. And I was, I guess, the doctor, which
Awesome.
is pretty scary on its own.
That's great.
Uh,
Oh,
Great, wonderful. For
mhm.
everyone involved, this is a bad scene.
Yeah.
But I'm
I
talking
don't know.
to
We
the
could just
dude, and
take his eyeballs.
yeah, yeah, she's not really dead, but like shit, let's just scoop him out. Um, so I'm trying to tell the dude, I guess arguing is the right word. I'm like, yo, somebody needs these eyes. Like, you're not gonna, she's not coming, she's not waking up. And then all of a sudden I start getting this like message from spirit. It's almost like
Okay.
in Lord of the Rings when Galadriel makes eye contact with you and she can talk to you
Oh,
and you
yeah,
hear
yeah.
her in your head. It was one of those. Um, well, of course, now I can't remember anything. She says, you know, where is Gandalf?
Yeah, I can
Anyway,
see her I can see her facial expression.
welcome, Frodo of the Shire. And then she says, one who has seen the eye, but if you listen really hard, there's like a really cheesy whip crack noise in the background, and it cracks me up every time. Anyway, I started hearing Galadriel in my head, and it's somebody talking this nonsense about like, if you don't get these eyes donated to the person they're going to, this evil spirit's gonna come out of nowhere and I guess just eat everybody's ass, like it's just gonna wreck shit.
Okay.
And saying that just seems kind of weird and like, oh, okay, so bad things are gonna happen if you don't get it. But in the dream, it was so fucking intense. And I could feel like the entity that she was talking about was like one of those TV tropes, like Slenderman tropes, like
Okay.
the limbs were too long and the knees bent backwards, like that kind of
Mhm.
like demon-esque.
Mm.
And when I woke up from that nightmare and I had to pee, I just froze. I was just frozen in bed because I knew the second I got up, he was gonna grab me.
Gross.
And it's like I never saw him or anything, but the last like vision I got of the dream was like the girl whose eyes had already been taken to be donated, like
Mhm.
waking up from her coma.
Ah, that's the worst way for that dream to end.
Yeah, dude, it was pretty sick. And I have no idea why you know what? I caught Predator on the TV for the first time ever. I've never seen Predator before.
You know,
Maybe I
I
had
wow. I've not seen
maybe
it all the way through now that you mention it.
maybe it had something to do with that. But it got me to thinking, what what is a nightmare, dude? What is it? And also, how can it be like there's a couple of different ways to fight it, right? I know everybody, not everybody, that's presumptuous, but a lot of people know of like dream pillows to enhance your good dreams, as well as a couple of ways to like defend from bad dreams, such as the nightmare bag.
Mhm.
But I got to thinking, what is there something metaphysical? Like, and it was more just interesting. I was like, dude, there's got to be some kind of belief out there about nightmares, what they are, where they came from, shit like that. So I hopped online and I opened a wormhole that I cannot close for myself.
Okay.
There is so much demon talk online.
Yeah, that's to be expected. And I'm waiting for that to get moved past, like as the paranormal is being separated from like being demons, to where it's just like, oh, yo, it's demons, But you
Well,
do still get a lot of that.
you
Where if
get a lot of
anything's
demon.
bad, it's demons.
Well, and a lot of it comes from the old, we've already talked about the actual, like the nightmare. Remember when we talked about that and the braiding of the mare's hair with wax or whatever? I
Yeah.
forget what happened, but the hag that would come at night, and of course I guess the where we get nightmare from, but oh, that was very demon heavy, very witch heavy, very demon heavy as shit from back in those days is. But I also saw some really interesting other thoughts. Like one of them I was sort of familiar with, and this would make sense to me in your nightmare, your very realistic nightmare where Hunter stabbed a man to death. Whereas could very possibly be, I mean, theoretically, I'm not saying I'm like with all facts, like with all of the seriousness, I'm like, you know what, this could be. But the theory is that was you. You were very much alive, and that's why it felt so real. And it wasn't a dream, but what you were actually seeing is the last moments of a previous life or of a previous timeline that you were a part of. And perhaps, even though he killed the dude, I don't know what happened, but perhaps you jumped and you wake up in this new timeline. Or maybe you've always been in your current timeline and you just like saw through the window into another timeline where that
That makes sense
actually
to
did
me.
happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
The other one that I think might make sense to you is kind of the Bigfoot as an alien theory, where dreams in general, not just nightmares, but dreams in general, are part of how do I say this? It's part of the viewing of what we might call the Matrix, right? It's sort of tapping in to this simulation theory style, like all the universes. When you see something really whacked and
Okay.
fucked in a dream, it's a completely different play. What did you say
When?
just now? Oh, I thought you just
Nothing?
I thought you just went hamburger.
No.
Okay. Great.
What?
I don't know. I thought something I said sparked a memory in you, and you just felt the need to yell out hamburger.
Weird.
Anyway, and then that goes even, anyway, so there's that kind of not necessarily paranormal, but like otherworldly aspect to it,
Right.
which I gotta be honest with you, some of it seems like some of it seems kind of compelling, my dude.
Why not?
Especially when you think about, when you read the stories of people who have claimed to like witness the simulation, or witness the I don't know how to say it, the overseers, and they hear things like, wait, he's not ready yet, put him back in, or stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
You get it with like near death experiences. Sometimes you get it in dreams.
Also, like things like DMT.
Stuff like that, right? And which again, DMT is that chemical that we release in our brains to have the dreams. So there's all this tie-in everywhere. And I just wanted to ask you, and this is, I guess, where the more conversational part comes in. Barring, let's say that the scientifical, God, I'm stupid. See, this is what we would cut out. The scientific.
You're not stupid. You're a doctor.
I'm not a doctor. I'm just one in my nightmares. This is where, anyway, barring the actual scientific, like, hey, it's your brain just running out. It's basically your brain has the zoomies and it's running out energy, or it's your subconscious, barring any kind of biological scientific thing like that. What do you think a dream could be? A nightmare could be?
I mean, it could be all kinds of things. Like, from a very like simple standpoint, I do think that just your animalistic fears, just like your own primal fears are, of course, going to come up in a dream. And sometimes that's just what they're based in. For instance, like yours with the tornado, like that's a shelter dream. However, it could be a past life thing. Maybe you died by a tornado in a past life. But also, too, I feel like with dreams, and just dreams in general, not necessarily just nightmares, but like dreams there's just no way that you're not tapping into like the collective unconscious when
there's
you dream.
Something there. And I understand like sometimes you have a dream about a banana split because you went to bed and you just ate a banana split. Like, I understand that there's some really easy, what is it? Who is it? What's the often the easiest conclusion is the correct one? Is that Occam's razor? I don't remember. But I get that. But there is something that is otherworldly to me about sleep. Considering that we don't fully, and this is true, look it up, dude. We don't fully understand why we need sleep. Like there's, and the answer is like, oh, of course, because you get tired, you need to recharge. Like, that's what we say. But why?
It's
why
pretty silly when you think about it.
Because sure, you might need to rest your physical body, but why do we need to completely disconnect our whole ass brain? So even though we understand a lot more about sleep than we did even just a handful of decades ago, we don't know why we really need it or what it is exactly. So I think that there is something there. And I don't think every dream has to be this crazy life-shattering thing, but some of them fucking are, dude. And I have had dreams where I have thought that I was interacting with something. Now, I've heard of people having contact dreams, like if a family member has passed and then someone comes down in their dream and they say, hey, I'm this family member and I'm reaching out to you. And there's the things that those dreams have in common is wacky to me, dude. Listen to somebody talk about a contact dream and sometimes there's these little parallels that you start to pick up on that are so strange. It's like, how is all of this adding up? Like, one thing I've heard about from contact dreams is you're speaking to your past loved one and they kind of suddenly they're like, hey, I gotta go. And they just, they have to leave at that moment. And it's like something like you don't know why, you don't get it, but they got to go. Another one is you can't have a lot of physical contact with them, like hugs and stuff, because they always say like, no, you can't hug me. They'll smell you on me. And that fucking freaks me out.
I've not heard of that before.
And then another
That's
one.
Weird.
Yeah, I've heard that one. I've heard that from and the thing about that is I haven't like read that one, because sometimes when you read things online, I'm like, yo, it's easy to like read somebody else's stories, and this kind of becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy that you start to put into your own dream,
right?
You know, like that. There was a marketing campaign that went on a while back, and I've talked about it actually, but it was this picture of a dude's face, and it said, "Have you seen this man in your dreams?" Right. Well, this theory kind of popped out of nowhere, where people were saying, they were like, hey, there's this man that like most people have seen in their dreams. Who is this man? And then people started actually having dreams about that man, right? So then it took off even further. But it all came from this thing. So and our brains are so crazy that you could just barely see that picture.
Yeah.
And then have a dream about any dude and then be like, it was that guy. But this is actually stories I heard from people telling me about contact dreams. These two people not knowing each other, these people not really being the type to do a lot of research about contact dreams. They were just like, hey, I had this dream. And they both said the thing about like, don't get too close to me or I got to go. They'll smell you on me. So if anybody knows anything about that, let us know.
Yeah.
Which to me, a contact dream, everyone seems really comforted by them, but they scare the hell out of me because they say weird shit. Another one is like, hey, I'm not supposed to be here, but I guess that one makes sense. Like you're not supposed to be in the realm of the living. I don't know.
And that's what maybe it's like a risk, or maybe it just is not meant to be. Like the two fabrics of realities don't like they don't work. So like time is limited, and I like to think about it that way instead of just like thinking that even in the next life, there's also ruling overlords that manage everything that we do. Fuck.
It's just like a fucking office manager at like Staples is like, come here. I smell human on you.
I said you had a 15-minute break, not an 18-minute break. Thank you very much.
Where have you been? We're gonna have to write this up. God, Jesus, can you imagine? Anyway, so that's the contact dream aspect of it. However, I have my very first nightmare. I remember waking up and crying like a baby. Now, this is the first nightmare I can remember because apparently I had night terrors when I was a young one. But the first one that I remember, I was in the house that I lived in. And I went out into the park. It was an apartment, so there was parking lot. I went out into the parking lot, and there was like a big circus tent. And I went to the circus tent. There was my neighbor that I knew. She was friends with my mom. I walked over to her, I was like, hey. And she looked at me. She said, hey, Charlie. And then she like got this really concerned look on her face. She goes, what's wrong with your eye? Which now that I'm talking about it, I have a lot of eye dreams. Anyway, and I said, what do you mean? She said, your eye's kind of like... And then she took her eye and moved one of her eyes.
Yeah, weird.
Yeah. And I remember in my dream, I screamed. And when I screamed, like it was like a movie, like the shot changed to the playground that was at those apartment complex. And there was a girl with really long blonde hair, not me, even though that I had really long blonde hair. There was a girl with long blonde hair on the swing, and she was swinging and her hair was flowing behind her. And she was just like glowing, like angel glowing, almost that underwater look, like your hair and your clothes are floating. And I could hear the echo of my scream, but then I woke up. And I remember every detail. I remember every fucking detail about this dream. And the more I think about it, the more I get older. It, to me, and whatever, call me fucking crazy, but to me, it seemed like there was something trying to fuck with me in my dream. And then somebody stepped forward and woke me up. I will take no objection about this, and I will not elaborate. But that's what
I think you have to. Yeah. I think that's enough.
And I know it just sounds like a kid had a nightmare, but to me, there was so much feeling. And the fact that I'm a 33-year-old woman and I haven't talked about that nightmare since I was, I don't know,
I remember you
I told
telling me
people
about it a long time
yeah,
ago because I
long
remember the
time ago.
shot of how creepy it was of the scream with the little girl swinging on the swing. It's very
Right.
surreal.
Yeah, and the whole thing and that's the thing, I don't have dreams that either A, make sense like that. I'm never in my own house, you know, I'm always a doctor on a soap opera hospital set,
Mhm.
or like, the nightmare I had about Mama and Papa that had a baby and they threw the baby they threw the baby in the trash because
One good. Great. Thank you, Grandma and Papa. They would never do that, by the way.
no, 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 and this wasn't like a true to life, like,
But that's
abandonment
wild,
situation.
that it's like your
It
brain's
was a
just like, how's this
toddler.
scenario?
Like, yeah, they just, like, put the baby and it wasn't like the baby was gonna die, it was just, like, they just didn't want this baby, so they put it in the trash,
It's like The
and then they were
Sims.
mad at me. They were mad at me because I saw them do it, and then they started to say that they were mad at me because my house was upside down. Those are the kinds of dreams that I have.
Uh,
So the fact that this one made any sense at all, I don't know, it speaks to me about what
that
it was.
reminds me of one of the creepier dreams I've ever had, and it was also
Ooh,
very realistic. And it was
tell.
about Papa, um,
Okay.
when he's very, very lighthearted, sweet guy. But when before we found a rent house to move into to span the months of waiting to buy this house, we did stay here with Grandma and Papa for a few weeks, just upstairs in the loft. And I had a dream one night, and again, everything was exactly the way that it was, except there was a lamp that was on. So it was like a dull kind of amber light in the dream. And I woke up and Papa was standing at the side of the bed, and I was laying sideways. So it was like, like my right ear was like on the pillow, my left ear was up. And so I was like looking at the edge of the bed where he was standing, and he was positioning very carefully and holding it in place while looking at me. He had this long, still, like steel pin holding up like above the opening of my ear. Like basically like an ice pick
Ew.
that he was going to be. And he was just standing there, and it was this tense
Oh,
moment, and it was awful, dude. And I remember trying to like reason kind of, but like not really, but he was like calm spoken. It was weird. It was not normal. And it was like, he was just like
gross.
holding it there. And he just seemed very intent on just plunging that in whenever. He was so intense, and I woke up so sweaty. But it was, we things like that
Weird.
again, to where it was like we were up in the loft. I was in, like it was, everything was exactly the way it was supposed to be. But then that absolute curveball is thrown in for some reason.
Maybe it wasn't a dream. Maybe Papa really just got tired of having y'all live there and he was just going to take you out.
He was like, this will make them leave tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah, if I kill her. Dude, okay. Another little sidetrack real quick before I kind of get into the nightmare spells and whatnot. But you were talking about Papa. This reminds me of God damn it, I'm so sorry. I'm turning into a fucking old person. If I've told this story, stop me. But do you remember the house that your mom and everybody lived in before the land that y'all have now?
The little rent house that they
The
were
little
in
blue rent
before.
house.
Yeah. I don't remember it, but I know of it. I was only a baby.
Oh, okay. All right. So I was over there, and I guess that means I was like 6. Because if you were like
Yeah, you would have
1,
been about
right?
yeah,
6 or
you would have been about
7.
5 or so, probably 5 or 6.
Right.
Yeah, or yeah, maybe a little
Um,
yeah.
Anyway, I was over there and you guys weren't there, and y'all were coming in that weekend. And so I was spending a couple of days with Mama and Papa and Terry and just kind of waiting for y'all. And
Mhm.
I was so excited to come pick y'all up because me and Papa were going to go pick y'all up.
Mhm.
And it was early in the morning. Like he was leaving hella early in the morning. And I was so excited that I slept like on a pallet on the floor.
Mhm.
And I was like, Papa, it's like sleep on the couch, so we can get up and go early. So he did. But anyway, so he's on the couch. I'm on a pallet down on the floor. And I was a what you might call a bossy child.
Mm.
Um Macy said, mm.
Mm.
But I I just wanted everything to go according to plan, you know? So I
Sure.
remember I was telling Papa, I was like, "Okay, hey, Papa, when you wake up, tap me on my big toe twice, and I'll know it's you, and I'll get up, and we'll go pick them up." I In the mind of a child, this made sense, you know?
Sure.
It was gonna be our secret call to action, so I'm kind of falling asleep, and I feel not lightly, but, like, intentionally 2 kinda hard taps on my big toe.
Mhm.
And immediately I fling my eyes open and I'm like, "Papa, was that?" I was like, is it time?" And it was 2 minutes after I had originally said that, you know, and I remember he was like half asleep on the couch. He was like, "No, Tara, go sleep," you know, so yeah. And I remember just kind of staring wide-eyed at the ceiling, terrified, trying to be like, well, maybe one of the grown-ups is trying to pull a trick on me, you know,
Mhm.
or trying to like figure it out. But like that is, I'm going to say, one of my first real physical experience with the ghosts.
It's pretty spooky. Yeah, I'd say that's
I mean,
pretty spooky.
if you were a ghost and you heard a kid fucking excited, "Tap me on my toe twice, Papa," you
Mhm.
would probably
Mhm.
be like, "Watch, I'm gonna scare the shit out of you."
Yeah, I would, absolutely.
Yeah, 110. I'd do that now.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Oh, yeah,
so
especially if you don't
that's
live in the house. They're like, "Who is this child?"
yeah. Get her
We
I heard if you tap her toe twice, she'll just leave. Um, God.
Yeah.
Anywho, so I wanna hear from you guys on our Facebook, on Instagram, all the socials. I would like to hear you guys tell me, do y'all have any, like, wacky, A, nightmares that you'd like to share? Because those are fun and spooky, but B, like, if you're somebody out there who has a hardened opinion about what a dream is, where dreams come from, are nightmares different than dreams? Do they come from a different place? If you have like a strong opinion about this, please let me know. I would love to hear it. And to kind of wrap this little part up, I want to talk about what we can do to stop nightmares. Because I'm sure if you saw nightmare in the title, you might be like, hey, I'm struggling with nightmares. Let me stop it. But instead, you just get a bunch of talk about pop-all nightmares.
Mhm.
But let's see. Hold on, I'm getting my stuff here. We always sing songs when we pull up our notes, and that usually gets
Mhm.
cut out, but not today because we're doing a one take Sally. Okay.
Mhm.
So the first thing you can do is make a nightmare bag.
Mhm.
Now here
Okay.
I've called it a nightmare spell, but nightmare bag is a little more canon for us. So this is the nightmare spell called Stop Nightmare.
Oh.
And this was brought to us by someone by the name of Gray Wolf.
Mm.
And that's all the information I have. But you need a vessel of some kind, either a bottle or, in our case, a bag. Grab you a seashell, some sage, some thyme, leaf. Wait, just leaf. Hold on.
Just
Sage,
just throw
thyme, bay
some
leaf, and
time in
salt.
this bottle.
Yeah. And just get leaf.
Mhm.
And okay, anyway, what you will do, and now you can, this is a very general setup, right? You can swap things in. In a stop nightmare, I like to throw in some dark crystals to kind of absorb that negativity. And I like to add in a little bit of lavender and or amethyst to kind of perk it up. But if this is for just stopping the nightmares, this will do you.
Well, and I like how that's
So,
like it's kitchen spices. Like
yes.
that's what it sounds like. Those are all like kitchen spices. Like you're gonna have
Yeah.
a jar of sage. You're gonna have a jar of thyme.
Time.
You know, like you're
You're
just
going to
gonna
have
have those
leaf.
things. Yeah, you have leaf. Like
You'll have
just
leaf.
throw it in there.
And on your leaf, your bay laurel, what you're going to do is you're going to write something like no more nightmares or good dreams only or live, laugh, love or whatever to you speaks good. Now, this spell specifically says you should write good dreams should follow me.
Okay.
But whatever. I feel like no dream should just straight up fucking follow me. That sounds creepy. But you do what you would like to do. Cast your circle, sit with your ingredients, tell them their job. Their job is to be little soldiers and to keep those nightmares away. And then you're going to sleep with this either under your bed or under your pillow. I like the under the pillow thing better because it's like closer to my head. And I feel like that's where all the fucked up shit comes from. And then you're good. You'll need to feed it or to refresh your jar when you feel like you're starting to get some creep dreams again. Also, anything with citrus, and this is just my own personal take. I have had great luck with citrus in the bedroom, but you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
I've had great luck with citrus, not only kind of dissipating, like, how do I say, dissipating, what's the word I'm looking, insomnia, sorry, but also to help kind of calm feverish dreams. Now, I don't always have nightmares, but I do have lots of feverish dreams. So that's what I kind of chucked some orange slices. I dried some out and hung them next to my bed. And for the longest time, listen, I wasn't waking up thinking I was dying, which is pretty good for me. The other way you can combat this is to not just stop the nightmares. So don't just make your nightmare bag, but make yourself a good dream pillow as well. And I love the fact that the dream pillow is usually called a dream pillow. It's not called like a good dream bag, or it's a pillow and it's sweet. I think the word pillow just is it's one of the words I can taste, I feel like.
Well, and it fits with the dreaming. You're asleep and your head's on a little pillow. So your little dream spell gets its own little pillow.
Yeah. It's I don't know. When I hear pillow, I want to pat. I want to pat like a little pillow. Just give it a little pat. Anyway, what you need is a little tiny pillow or a sachet. I saw this one spell that said they just took some pantyhose or like a sock and just shoved it full and then gave it a sew or gave it a tie off at the end. Listen, witchcraft is all about making do with what you have. So, use a fucking Ziploc if you want to, but grab you some rosemary, grab you some lavender, grab you some cinnamon, which was a nice surprise. And I'm really trying to suss out what that's for. I guess maybe to like burn bad dreams away. I don't know, dude. Anyway, get yourself peppermint because that's going to boost the quality of your dreams, so it says. And then if you can find it, get yourself some valerian, maybe some catnip, to help the depth of which you sleep at, to just improve your sleep quality, right? If you're into crystals, though, amethyst in there. I personally like to add any of the blue, like the sodalite or the what's the backwoods cousin? What's the backwoods cousin of sodalite? Blue jean denim.
No, sodalite is the poor man's lapis. We have had the same conversation 50,000 times.
Oh, shit. Okay, but any of the blue stones, maybe some of that angelite or whatever the hell. What was it called?
Celestine?
Celestine? Glycerine.
Yeah, I think so. Nephilim.
And then, I'm leaving. And then anything that you associate dreams with. So I would like to just kind of give a little to end here. God, Macy, you threw me off. To end, one of the cutest things that I saw is someone took their childhood like stuffy and they cleared out a part of its insides and they put all of their good dreams stuff into the little stuffy. And then that's their like little mascot for good dreams and protects them. And I think that's the cutest thing I've ever heard in my whole life. And now I want to take all of my stuffed animals, cut them open, give them purposes, give them herbs and crystals, and set them on their path of doing their job.
I mean, that makes a lot of sense to me. You know, I
Isn't it
feel like
cute?
that's like a Build-A-Bear that's just waiting to happen, like a witchy Build-A-Bear.
Intellectual property, wabah, 2022.
Yeah, claiming that shit.
Dude,
Fuck all y'all.
build a witch, wrench a witch, witch sandwiches. That's
I
us
was just
now.
gonna say that's taken.
Have you ever done Build-A-Bear? I asked you that recently. You said
No,
no.
we never did. Well, I never thought that they looked very comfortable.
I can see that with all the clothes that one puts on them. However, I think their base bear is very soft. And when you're getting it stuffed, you can tell them the level of stuffing that you want. So you can get a really stuffed bear or like a lightly stuffed bear. And then there's also this part where they give you a little heart and they make you do this weird dance with it. And then they tell you to put your love and energy, and then you put the heart in the bear. And I think it's cute.
I mean, that's pretty witchy in
You would hate it.
itself.
It's witchy. It's witchy as hell. Now, if we just took that concept, stole it from them, turned it into real 100% witchcraft, and instead of little plastic hearts, we use fucking ethically sourced crystals.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine?
It's pretty sweet. And like have cool animals so you can get like a little goat, or you can get like a raven, or you could get like, you know, a little black cat, like, you know, little familiar items.
Yeah. Get a lizard.
Ooh,
tarantula?
Like a little bearded dragon or some shit. That'd be sweet.
Yeah. A dragon?
Yeah.
Like a
That's
real
the
dragon?
market. Open market opportunity.
Bats.
Ooh,
Lots of bats.
yeah,
That's the
like a big old sweet like flying fox, like the cute little sky
Yes.
puppies.
Like
you
the
know,
ones
like
that look like
that would be.
puppies.
I'd be into that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm psyched. Listen, we're gonna make this happen off screen, but that's what I got for you.
Okay.
Talking about nightmares. Everyone, tell us your nightmares. Macy, go.
Nightmares are interesting. Like I think they're interesting. I do love. I ever told, and it's super quick, and I'll move on. But have you ever told the Hunter's Baphomet dream on the show? Have you ever talked about that?
I don't know if you've told it on the show. I feel like maybe we told it. Maybe you told it in a live.
I feel like I might have told it in a live. It is funny to me, but it's also super creepy.
So scary.
So, well, it's funny to me as to like why he had the dream, I guess. Like that's the funny part. So this was like, I think this was way back. This was probably like 2019. And I was away over at your place and we were recording. And so he just kind of had the house to himself. And this was right around when, oh shit, Mac Miller mysteriously died. And there were a lot.
I forgot there was a weird Mac Miller tie-in.
So much conspiracy around that death. And so he was just home alone and somehow, and this isn't usually the thing to take, like he will like, you know, he's interested in things like this, but I guess he just was by himself and bored and he really went down this rabbit hole. But he just like for a few hours, like got into the conspiracies of like the root of it. And like, of course, this got into like deep Illuminati shit and that like he was a sacrifice and like it was predicted that someone his age, an entertainer, was going to be sacrificed. And of course, like all these, it was all to Baphomet. And it was just bullshit. It was all just absolute bullshit. It's wrong shit. But, you know, he read it all. He was just kind of bored. He was reading it. But and it didn't like unnerve him at all. You know, it wasn't that it was freaky. It was just entertaining to read Illuminati bullshit. But apparently in his brain, it decided to twist that into the freakiest dream. And so
it's like,
Munch again, like
it's like Hunter himself. It's like I can't, because he's so like cool. You know, he's just like a cool, level-headed dude that he's reading all this freaky shit. I could see him being like, okay, but this isn't real. But like his subconscious was just like, fuck.
but what if it is? Yeah, no. And so he woke up in the dream, but it's, again, this is one of those where everything was right. And, where he sleeps, it opens up into the recording room area, which is like a long hallway. And you can't see, like where I'm sitting right now, I'm at the back of it and I can't see the bed, but I see the opening. So it's kind of like a long little hallway strip. It's long and skinny. And in his dream, he wakes up and he hears like this, like, yeah, like this, like creepy ancient language, and it's quiet. It's like it's starting off quietly, but he hears like it's so over the top, like he hears like the shuffling of like the hooves,
No.
and he just hears like the creepy like kind of muttering sound, and it starts getting louder in the dream, and it's getting louder and louder and louder, and he said eventually like Baphomet himself steps into view to where it's like he's like my eyes are watering just because it's such an intense dream, dude. And so like he's got his head on the pillow and he's looking into the archway opening that opens into the Zen room, which is where he walked out of. And he steps out, and when he steps out, his mutterings became like, he was like, it was so loud that he thought in the dream his head was going to explode. And he's just nonstop doing these weird, unearthly mutterings. And then he woke up and he's alone because I'm out of town, and he's exactly in the same position in a dark room looking into the hallway, and it's like, it was just like, it's so creepy. It's so creepy. But I love that happened after he just went into an Illuminati rabbit hole.
Dude, I would eat the bed. I would leave.
It freaked me out for a couple days. Like after he told it to me, and not that I have any fears of Baphomet or anything like that. A lot of that's just ridiculous, stuff that people have associated him with. And it's all not true, but it was just so intense, and the gravity of it. And I think the possibility of just me having to experience anything like that scared me so badly.
Oh, dude, what if y'all just kept having that dream?
I really didn't like being in this room, just because it was just, I don't know, it's a very harrowing dream. And like at night, I didn't like to look into and like part of me was just, it's the same thing as to like how I don't like hearing, or I never intend to rewatch The Babadook because I hate the sound. And it's like, I hear that sound. I expect to hear that sound at night, the nasty voice and like, and so it was the same thing with this, where it was like, I just expected to start hearing the rumbling ancient language of Baphomet who's in our bedroom.
Dude, what's funny about that is like, I wish that we could hear what he heard. You know what I mean? Like,
I know.
What?
Yeah.
Did that?
What if it was legit? What if that was like, again, unconscious mind, like our collective unconscious shit? What if that was real shit?
Yeah. What if he's speaking a real language? Or the other way is just as well. The other way is just as ridiculous, but it's much funnier. What if it was just like blah 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 blah? His dream.
Wow.
Yeah. He's like interpreting it as this creepy thing, and
he walks
just
up
like,
"Hello, I'm Baphomet. How are you?" And it's just like,
"You're having a bad dream. Something, Mac Miller." Oh,
weird.
God.
All right, I'll move on now. I just wanted to tell that dream because I think it's funny.
We just wanted to ruin everybody's day with that.
Yeah, it's a weird balance of funny and just awful.
Yeah, he was just visiting.
He was just visiting, like.
What if he was like? What if he was actually just like all the witchcraft stuff like around your house made it easier for him to step through, and he was just doing a nice little visit. Only poor Baphomet, he doesn't know his timing is so bad.
Yeah, and also he kind of picked the wrong person. Like again, Hunter's not afraid of witchcraft, but I feel like I would have been more receptive.
Maybe that's why he was muttering, is because he expected to see you there. But under his breath, he's like, where in the fuck is she?
Damn it, I made this appointment 3 months ago, and I really expected her to be here.
Oh, God. Okay. All right.
Stupid. All right.
Butterflies. I want to feel better.
I'm going to talk to you about butterflies. So we're kind of this is first like animal we've talked about in a while,
Yeah.
and so I'm excited about it because the weather has inspired me, and also we are quickly approaching Ostara.
Oh
And I
yeah.
was like, well, this would be fun to like, take maybe like take an element from Ostara that people can learn about in preparation for the day instead of what we usually do, which is like short-term notice or after the fact or the day of.
Right.
So I
By
I
the
was just like,
way,
what is something that we could do? And I was looking, and butterflies are a pretty popular association for Ostara. And it really makes a lot of sense as to why, but we'll get to that. First, I just wanted to talk to you about the insect itself and just kind of what they are and how they work, because in those mechanisms, their spiritual meaning can be derived from it. So I put this down just because it's full of a bunch of Latin scientific words, and it's a direct quote. This is the first sentence of the butterfly page of Wikipedia, but it's just so hard to read. I was like, you know what, I'm just going to put it down. Butterflies are insects in the macrolepidopterian clade Rhopalocera from the order Lepidoptera. So there you go, which also includes moths. So they're in the same. So,
which also includes mom.
it was mom. So butterflies have very, often large, especially to their body size, often brightly colored wings, but sometimes not. And as I read, a conspicuous flight,
Oh.
a very flappy, kind of fluttering, conspicuous flight. They're kind of bumbly, They're not. They're not super sleek
they're not shy.
in their travels. They just kind of flap around. No, and interesting. They've been around for a long time. They've been around the block a few times. In fact, there have been butterfly fossils found as far back as 56 million years ago. And that's like the furthest estimate, but even so, they're like 45 to 50 conservatively. So like millions and millions of years ago. So butterflies have been pollinating and sipping that sweet nectar for millions of years. And
I don't want to
what's
sound
neat
ignorant.
about butterfly?
Well, what the fuck is a butterfly fossil?
I guess like you like how you like the imprint, like have you seen those fossils that are like of
Like Jacob
insects and it's
does?
kind of I refused I didn't watch those movies.
I'll stop.
When does that? Does he do that in the books? Does he collect fossils?
No, he imprints on the baby.
Oh, gross. Yes, precisely. The 56 million, the complex study of fossils is exactly the same as when a grown, I think, legal adult imprints on an infant.
Okay, great.
Yes.
Great.
And so I wanted to talk today about the process of the metamorphosis that butterflies go through, because I didn't really understand it yet. It's just such an it was mind-blowing to me that this caterpillar can not only like create this armored space for itself, but it also, once inside, has the ability to completely rearrange its body to turn into something completely different. I didn't understand how that was done.
I heard someone say this once. I don't know if it's true. I heard it once and it has become my reality that they just turn into goo and then they reform. So I'm just excited to hear.
It's kind of somewhere they do completely like on a cellular level change. And while pretty much like all insects or like vast majority go through a metamorphosis, butterflies and moths go through what is known as a complete metamorphosis. So this means that the larva is much different than the adult state. They even will eat different foods. It's just a very different thing. Incomplete metamorphosis is undergone by insects like cockroaches or grasshoppers. And in this case, the young are called nymphs instead of larvae, and they look more like miniature versions of the adults. So, like, that's the big core difference here is like a caterpillar does not resemble a butterfly. it seems to be a completely different creature,
Yeah, like it's not just like a caterpillar gets wings and now it's a butterfly.
Yeah, it's completely different body parts, parts that did not previously exist. And it's a completely different thing. And so there are 4 stages in a complete metamorphosis. We're going to go back to like high school biology. So
Hell
you,
yeah.
you have the 4 different stages of butterflies and moths. You have the egg, the larva, the pupa, and the adult. Do you remember that word, pupa?
Always made me uncomfortable.
I don't like the word pupa. There's a
Pupa.
chrysalis is another word which I like.
I like chrysalis. It
It
feels
sounds
like
pretty
crystal.
lit. Yeah, it seems pretty nice. Like fancy, like Crystal
Yeah.
Palace.
Pupa sounds like something that you accidentally do when you have too many beers.
Yeah, it's just it seems way less glamorous than what's actually going on inside that thing.
Gross.
So once hatched out of an egg, caterpillars essentially exist to eat and eat and eat some more.
Hell yeah.
That's what they do. They are just like chronic munchers. I don't really think there's a whole lot going on aside from that. Like they just munch and munch and munch. That's their purpose in life, is to
Chronic
eat and grow.
muncher.
And they're chronic munchers. And they grow super quick, like really quick, sometimes inches in a matter of a couple of weeks, like starting from a tiny pinhead size. Like
Aw.
massive growth. And they will split and shed or molt their skin multiple times during this growth process, as they just need to grow and grow. And I mean, like, like, for example, like gardeners out there know the perils of the like tomato hornworms. And they're those big, thick, like 3-inch long, meaty green ones with like the little red horn that they can strip like 4 or 5 of them can decimate a tomato crop in a night.
Nematodes.
Like it's incredible what they do. Like, but what's interesting is that those turn into sphinx moths, which are really cool. So, it's neat to know what caterpillars, even the ones that are very pesky and whatnot, like it's not just always good to just kill these pest insects, because they turn into sphinx moths, which are important, So like I hear the thing a lot, and this really troubles me. It's very common for gardeners to just cut tomato hornworms in half if they find them. And I just think that is awful. And I see it all of the time, like in gardening forums. They're like, oh, if I find them, I just cut them in half. And I just think that sucks so hard. One, because it's just causing needless suffering and of a creature that's just doing what it's supposed to do. Like, move it somewhere. If you are gonna kill it, do it fast. Like, don't do that. It's like pouring salt on slugs. It's just, to me, it's needless cruelty.
I did that once as a child, and I have felt bad about it for 30 years.
I have a few of those. Yeah, it's like when you're still a child and you haven't quite gained the empathy that comes with just like growing up a little bit. Yeah, I have a few of those where I look back and I'm like, good goddamn.
I grew up a little bit that day, for sure.
Yeah, it's one of those, and it's like you just have to live with it, and it's irreparable, So yeah, don't do that. Don't cut your worms in half like that. But one of the things that I always really, really wanted to know, again, was like, how does the cocoon happen from this pupa stage and where they pupate? And like, how does that work? So basically, when a caterpillar has had enough food and it's reached its full size, often, again, in only just a couple or few weeks following hatching, it will like secrete this sticky silk from near its mouth, and it will like stick itself upside down to something, whether it be like the underside of a leaf or a branch, or like a wooden structure, maybe like some stairs outside, or things like that. Like, they'll just, when they're ready, they'll crawl, they'll find a spot, they'll kind of like do a little maneuver, stick their little butt to the ceiling, and they'll hang upside down with their head facing downwards. And following this, it seems there's two options depending on the species of caterpillar. So one, it either spins like the coupon. I don't know if it autocorrected or if my brain just shut off, but I said it spins itself a coupon.
gotta get them good deals.
Oh my God. So it uses that special silk and spins it around itself, which it hardens eventually with exposure to air. You know, that coupon that like get in free for become a butterfly.
Okay. Ooh, sorry.
The other way is that it will molt and like the chrysalis will like already be there. So it's like the cells for it are already ready and waiting, and somehow it like forms underneath. And when it molts, it's like already the cocoon, which is pretty lit. So I don't really, I mean, again, though, that too has to harden. Both of them need to harden and kind of get tougher once they are exposed to oxygen. So the baking inside of the cocoon, it can range from a few weeks to 2 years.
Whoa.
Depending on the species. So that just seems to me like a whole lot of trouble, more than it's worth, but whatever. They're like, especially since so many, and I don't know if this is the case for the ones that take so long to emerge, but it's like oftentimes butterflies only live for like a few weeks, you know? So it's just like, man, all 2 years just to show up, fucking die.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, it could be worse, I guess.
It could be worse. They get a good nap, you know?
They get a good nap. They get a little bit of fun before they die.
Oh, you mean shagging?
Shagging and boozing on that sweet nectar. I know that it gets them silly. It has to.
That's why they fly around so fucking.
Yeah, they're just clumsy. They're all drunk cute. That's cute. I like that idea.
That's that's canon now.
So
butterflies are drunks.
It can maybe look like nothing's going on inside a cocoon, except it is fun when they get closer to like busting out of it. It will move and kind of twitch, and you can see like you can
is
see
that the scientific term?
Yeah, you know, when they bust out.
Yeah.
So a lot of shit's going on though inside. So special cells are present in the caterpillars, like when they're born, and now it's like they're activated. So it's like the process of becoming encapsulated in the cocoon allows for these cells, these dormant cells, to activate. And, you know, cells are responsible and like for the growth of everything, the growth of tissues and whatnot. And a lot of that comes from DNA. And so it seems like this process is already written into the caterpillar's DNA and the cells are already there. So in coming into this cocoon, it completely like rearrange, like these cells activate and build these parts of the body, and the caterpillar itself, the body, it seems, fuels the process. So like all of the excess mass on this caterpillar also helps feed the energy that is required for this cellular regeneration. So it might just it seems it might just actually kind of turn into goop. Not liquid, but it will just be an amorphous as like things kind of absorb and extend and shift and things kind of start forming. It seems like it's going to just be like a bit of a, you know, just a process of changing shape over and over and, you know, like forming the shape from the very non-shapely caterpillar body.
This information has just convinced me right this moment that butterflies are aliens.
It's wild, right?
This is not an earthly process. I don't believe in it. I don't condone it. They are aliens.
And I mean, it's like they grow legs, wings, new eyes, other parts, you know, all these things, a proboscis, things that make it an adult butterfly. And, you know, again, these like larva cells of the body, the original ones, like they will help feed this process. And so the adult stage, the final stage, is what most people think of when they think of butterflies. So they look completely different from the larva. The caterpillar just has a few like tiny little eyeballs. Where am I? Here we go. Yeah, it has like, you know, just a few like tiny little eyes, and they can, you know, they're different. It's not the same thing. You know, they have different diets. Like butterflies aren't really going around munching leaves. You know, it's a totally different bag. So
what do butterflies eat?
Nectar, typically. That's what that long little, their proboscis, their little tongue.
For some reason, I just thought that they just like did that for fun.
Well, and like some don't feed at all. You know, for instance, like Luna moths, they don't even have a mouth. They just are doomed to
Shag
die of
and starve to
starvation.
death.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
sucks. Um, so, the caterpillar's job was to eat. The adult's job is to mate and lay eggs. So some species of, again, it's like some will eat flower nectar and, pollinate that way, flitting from flower to flower. Some will not. It just depends on the species. And flying just really comes in handy. So an adult female can easily fly from place to place to find the right place, not only to leave its eggs, but also to find places for good breeding stock, find a good
Whoa.
mate, and but largely too, just also find food. They can travel a good long distance, as compared to a caterpillar that is more limited in its traveling ability. So many adult butterflies only live for just a couple of weeks or so, but there are some that can hibernate and live like over the winter and live for months, which is pretty neat. So anyway, I just wanted to include that little like kind of high school refresher because I do like remember studying the process of metamorphosis in school. But
I
it is.
remember the pupate.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And I remember like the little like cyclical drawings that were like in
Mm,
workbooks and
mm,
shit.
mm.
But like clearly, because of this, butterflies symbolize renewal and this cyclical emergence from dark to light. And, the caterpillar emerges out of the darkness of the egg into the light where the lush plants grow that it can eat. So it can feed and then return to darkness once again to come back to the light as a thing transformed and liberated from the physical earth, from the ground. So it's this process of it's when it goes into the dark, it emerges better and different. And the dark isn't a bad place for the caterpillar to be. It's necessary. It's just like how without light, there's no shadow, and vice versa. And
As
so,
above, so below.
yeah. So they really symbolize that. And it doesn't really take a lot of skill to make like really pretty metaphors out of this process, because it's an absolutely massive undertaking. We have no idea, no concept or ability to even comprehend what this transformation is like on such a cellular level. We
Dude,
can't even fathom it.
what if we just like as a species, what if we had to like when our kids turned into like 7, we just had to like roll them up in a blanket, they would dissolve into goo and then come out a grown up.
Honestly, I would probably be more likely to have kids if that was the case. Just get a few years in, let them cook for a while, and then they're done. They're grown.
Yeah,
They
let
can
them
handle
goo
themselves.
down for a couple of years.
Yeah. Build back better.
Come out a whole human with like conversational skills.
Yeah, life skills, and they
Yeah.
can drive, all kinds of fun things.
Yeah.
So, like, because again, like, can you imagine your entire body completely changing into a shape that's nothing like what it previously was? It's nothing that you know how to use. You have limbs that you have never used before. Your entire purpose in life changes, and you have to use this new body fucking immediately once you dry off to get laid and get away from danger before you starve to death or die. So it's like not only do you go through this process and you emerge, you don't even have really much of a moment at all once you come out to be like, man, now what? It's like you come out, you harden your wings up so they're not all wet and floppy, and then you got to get moving and cope with all of that.
Can we get a shirt that says "Get laid and keep danger away" or whatever it is you said? Get laid, stay away from danger.
I mean, it's wise advice in general, I mean, and so like, I just think it's important to think about things like this. I see butterflies all the time, and I love butterflies. People love butterflies. They're just generally revered, and it's like, and of course, you do have people who can be freaked out by flying insects. I've met some, but like generally, I feel like people see a butterfly and they're like, "Oh, a butterfly," like it's a good thing. But it's like they're not given it's not thought about what that creature has accomplished. It's like, oh, it's this cute thing that flutters around and drinks flower nectar and they pollinate and they're butterflies and they're sweet. That fucker completely changed its whole body in somehow, like it's just amazing to think about. And these little animals that we just don't really like, we revere them because we like them, but so many creatures have powers, literal superpowers beyond our comprehension, and we don't even think about it. Like we don't even respect them for it. Like it's like I researched all this and I was like, I feel like every time I see a butterfly, I'm just gonna be like, you are so much more impressive than I am in so many ways.
Would you say that motherfucker?
It's just unreal. It's just crazy to me. And so, I mean, it's obvious as to why they're a symbol of transformation in this cycle of life and shadow. And like, just like right now, like pollinators are really coming back out, at least here in like the zone that we live in. It's getting pretty warm. It's like 78 degrees today. It's fucking lit. And pollinators are coming back as well as the goddamn wasps. And it's all noticeable. Like the other day, I had a bee get caught in my house and I had to get this bee out and it was super tired and I had to give it some sugar nectar out of a spoon. And I saw its little tongue drink it right up and then it buzzed away. But it's like that's happened because pollinators are out busy again. And it's happening with the return of the light and with spring. And again, it's easy to see why they're a symbol for Ostara. Ostara is the spring equinox. It is the day of spring, this first day of this new season. And it just brings the hope for change and activity, things that butterflies are really tied to. And they can symbolize just growth potential that is waiting in all of us. Just like, even when it's just like a lowly caterpillar just munching around, the cells that will turn it into a butterfly are already there. They're already inside of it. They're just not activated yet. The time might not be right. It's got to grow more. It's got to get to where it needs to be, to the state that it needs to be at. But then at the right moment, it can completely change its entire existence, its whole self into something brand new. And we all have the ability to do that. We all have at least the spiritual ability to do that. And it's this land-bound creature that transforms into one that can take flight and travel far beyond than it ever could. And it fits with this metamorphosis, this complete transformation energy of it, and this elevation to a higher self, both literally and figuratively. It's just overall, it's a much more complex creature. And, with higher, like a higher altitude, you get a higher vantage point, again, both literally and figuratively. And so I feel like spiritually, it's a good metaphor for that. No, we don't have like a literal sweet ass chrysalis to just like wrap up in and hibernate until it's done for us. But the cells for that process are in all of us. The seeds for that transformation. It's already here. It's just the timing. We need to get to the space that we need to be in to be ready for it. And I really like that. I think that it's nice to think about that. The potential is always there, and it's never, it's not that you don't have it. It might be harder to find sometimes, and sometimes maybe it comes and goes, but potential for spiritual growth and transformation, or even physical growth and transformation, the seeds are always there and waiting.
Everything you need is already inside you.
It's already there. And butterfly, they can symbolize joy and happiness. And with their, the striking colors and the happy bumbling flight pattern, they just appear to take their time and they just enjoy the world around them. Typically, most people, again, are delighted to see them. And while many can be pretty big, like we have, I don't know their exact name, but I just yellow swallowtail butterflies here.
Yeah.
The big, like 3-inchers, and they're gorgeous. That's a large insect, technically.
Yeah.
However, it's a lot less common for someone to be scared of that than a small spider, and spiders can't even fly. So it's just, they have like we see humans like butterflies. They're just generally accepted as an okay thing. They're a good bug, a safe bug.
I mean, it's like, unless you're creepy like me and would do this, but like, not for nothing, butterfly clips were a thing. Like
I loved those. I loved those so much. I want to get some more. I saw Cat Sketch put a video up of doing her hair with those, and I was just like, that's super cute.
I want the actual ones where the wings move. Did she have those?
I had those. I had those for sure, like all glittered up and painted.
Oh yeah, baby. Oh, and they would make that noise all day long.
Mm-hmm.
No, but like we don't have spider hair clips. I mean, again, I would wear the shit out of that.
Yeah, but they're not
It's not.
mainstreamly, like not mainstream
Yes.
accepted.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so during times of big changes, whether big changes need to happen or they are happening, and times, whether you need to bring it in or cope with it, drawing on the spirit of the butterfly can bring the promise and optimism of what change can bring. Because change can be scary, but it can also be transformative. And finding patience in the dark while you wait to emerge into the new light. It can help with that, and because I've noticed it in my own life, like low periods of, quote, darkness, which, that's just in this, using this, in this analogy. But like typically those arise before opportunities. It's like the energy of change itself creates the obstacles, the uncomfortable, like the abrasiveness of change, the tumult, and perhaps like the liminal nature of it. It just kind of kicks up dust. For me, it's like, and this is something that I experienced recently. I've really started trying to use a gua sha every day and stick with it. But and some people might have experienced this, but if you generally have, even if it's been clear for a while, you naturally have congested skin, it will break you out like a son of a bitch. Like,
Yeah.
big time. And I'm in that right
Moving
now.
all your shit, dude.
Yeah. And like I heard, I saw it written as like, it's essentially like you can have a very cool river, but if you step in the silt, you're kicking all that up. And then the river's got to carry that away, but not until it erupts out,
Yeah.
And so it's like, it's kind of the same thing, I feel like. Like it's like those moments of kind of the waiting period in the dark, the lower points. Like oftentimes they are the kind of the messy transition of moving from the old to the new.
You got to turn into goo first.
You got to turn into goo first. And so another thing, so if you feel that you struggle to express yourself outwardly as, in a way that you would like to, you can, hold on. I'm getting a spam call. Let me read my notes again. Here we go.
Answer live on the air.
Yeah. You can, if you struggle to express yourself outwardly as you would like to do, drawing on butterfly energy can perhaps help you show your true colors. Again, these are very bright, colorful insects, even though that can maybe be a little bit risky to like birds and whatnot. Granted, sometimes bright colors can signal poison or toxicity. They're just a bright, conspicuous creature, and I think if you're looking on maybe making yourself more obvious or expressing yourself in a more conspicuous and maybe less standardized way that you've been told or that society has said that people need to look and dress and act, then maybe focus on the energy of the butterfly and just kind of raise a big old middle finger to all of that and express yourself exactly how you want to.
Let's have Butterfly Week where we all dress like our inner child wants us to, and hashtag Butterfly Week.
Well, and I think like you saying child, like it really ties it all in because like butterflies just rouse our inner child. They just do. Like you see them and it's a delightful thing. And they're this wondrous, bright fairy tale creature. And I just feel like that's the energy that they exude, and focusing on it, it's like, yeah, hell yeah, I'll do this. Like I'm going to be myself. I want to be bright. I want to be expressive and show myself in this limited time that we all have. Like it's just, I really understand it. And this is something that I thought was very interesting for you. So butterflies are routinely tied to the other side and are seen as spirit communicators. And this, at first I was kind of surprised, but then upon thinking about it, it made a lot of sense because I've heard it over and over and over again. How many stories have you heard to where people say that butterflies were sent as messengers from loved ones? It's constant. It's everywhere. And, or like, whether it be loved ones or guides or anything like that, they're, culture after culture, it's like, and it doesn't matter time over, like span over span, like decade ago versus hundreds of years ago, butterflies have been written about as kind of like they're seen as glimpses of someone coming back through or just message senders.
I
And
wonder if that is tied in because I remember when we talked about cicadas, there was a similar thing because they would fall to the ground and then people would kind of presume them dead.
it's a
And then they would
resurrection element.
yeah.
Yeah.
So they are also kind of have that speaking to spirit kind of thing. So I
Yeah.
wonder if like that's just a thing that like we see them go into these chrysalises and even and like we don't understand what's going on inside them. So like our primitive brains like, oh, it's not moving, it dead. And then it comes back as this thing. We're like, oh, angel.
It is. I mean, it does. It seems like it's like a resurrection tale, you know, and with that, maybe it does walk on both sides of the
Lit.
veil, which is really cool. And I know that I've experienced communication via butterflies before, and I get it for it's how my property likes to talk to me. My property likes to talk to me through blue jay feathers and butterflies, especially the big swallowtail type butterflies.
Cute.
And it's hard to explain because it's not and it's not that every time I see a butterfly, I'm like, oh, thanks for the message. It's just
Right.
sometimes there have been some days that I swear the property is showing off. And like Lyra has been here to witness it, to where like, you know, strolling the property and like talking about how beautiful of a day and how happy I am that how healthy everything looks. And I love this place so much. And it's this beautiful place. And like 3 or 4 yellow swallowtails will just like flutter out of a oak tree and just like make the most
Okay.
obvious cinematic pass in front of us and
We
then just
get it.
it's just like okay. And like on when it happened, like the time I was thinking of, like I said out loud, like, okay, this is you're full of it. Like you're showing off at
We
this
get it.
point. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just wild. But like there
Your
are
property is a Leo.
yeah, it was very like, well, I'm glad you think so. And it just felt significant. But I do like sometimes in moments of like meditation or like sitting outside and like with the mother or things like that, but they will just pass at just the right time or when leaving offering or things like that. And it's just, there's just a feeling that you get of when something is significant. And very often it is butterflies. Um, you can also, many people use the bodies of butterflies if that's not too weird for you. I have a monarch and a Luna moth that passed away on my porch, and I still have them. They just kind of live on my altar, and you know they're great for transformation work or things like that. They're super delicate, but they don't really fade that much. I they passed naturally, and that was important for me. I don't just love the killing of insects for display.
Right.
I don't really like it. I do think that like, you know, the framed displays are beautiful. And some of them are made from just like when the butterflies die because their life cycles are short, you know, and then they're pinned in place and that's different. But like I do for like a lot of, you know, specimen collection and like for science is one thing, but like those, you know, you can buy butterfly frames at like Earthbound, you
Yeah.
know? And
Yeah.
it's like those some of the, you know, like it's impossible for many of those butterflies to have just not been killed to be displayed. You know, and it's like that bothers me from a spiritual standpoint. Like I don't
Yeah.
like that. But the finding and the treasuring of a body is different to me. You know, like
Yeah.
it came to my house to pass and perish, and so I'll bring it in and treasure it. So
Well, we got to kind of do a group thing at Anahata's, if you remember, by the river. There was I don't know what kind of butterfly it was, but it had like that black and like electric blue kind of
oh,
pattern.
those are so beautiful. Yeah.
It passed away by the river, and I remember thinking like, what, like this creature. Who were you? Like, who was your spirit that you pass away, and a parade of witches happens to be here,
Yeah, no
and like
kidding.
everyone like came by and like left offering and like made the little altar to its little body, and I just remember like that being one of the moments there that I had a little cry myself, um but yeah I thought it was um how to say God, I don't want to say this and have it be it's not like when a mammal passes, you know what I mean? And it's like a meat bag that's left behind, right?
Mhm,
Like
mhm.
it's it's this symbolic thing that you can kind of keep and have. And yeah, I do, I mean, not that, we're keeping trophies of dead bodies, but I do think it's very special that it means something to you. And then it sort of came to right where you were going to find it to like have its last moments. And you know what? What if the butterfly death isn't really a death? What if it's just another transformation because they're hedge walkers and it's just like, here I am now. That's what I want to think.
Yeah, I don't know.
Let me have it. Let me have it.
I'll take it, like I accept it. It's just they're very otherworldly creatures, and I see them a bit differently now following doing this research. And I've already had like a symbolism with them on the proper, but it's like now it's different. Like I see them as like, I don't know, they've just been through hell and back. And it's just interesting to see this like little bumbly happy creature. And it's like, dude, homie, you completely rearranged your whole body and you're just acting like nothing happened. It's wild to me.
You're just sitting there sucking on a flower.
Yeah, just like blinking, like, hello, look how cute I am. I grew these legs somehow. Like,
somehow.
Wild. So anyway, that's what I have for you on butterflies. As Ostara approaches, may you honor the butterflies. And one thing I noticed when I was online, and this is not related to butterflies at all, but it was something I've never thought about with just like the Easter season and the mass, essentially like purchasing and then surrendering of rabbits that always comes with Easter, because rabbits are decently demanding pets. And then people just surrender the rabbits. And so apparently there are rabbit rescues, and it is becoming a, somewhat popular thing, or like, it's something that can be done on Easter or on Ostara, these kind of spring days to where the rabbit is prioritized to donate to rabbit rescues. And things like that, because they're about to have to deal with their influx to where rabbits are going to be surrendered and whatnot. And I, for one, did not consider that rabbit rescues existed. But now that I know that they do, it makes a lot of sense, because other than just turning these rabbits loose out in the woods to where they are guaranteed to die because they are domesticated animals that have never lived in the wild, some people are going to surrender them. And these rescues do exist. There are some out there. And so I was like, that's an interesting thing I've never considered. So maybe if that's something, if you find that you are busy on Ostara, or you're unable to celebrate or something like that, or if you don't celebrate Easter anymore for whatever reasons, you can, maybe that's like a nice little way to still do something positive, and, just help the animals out there that are the byproduct of capitalism.
And there it is.
Yes. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, that's butterflies for you.
Shit, dog. What is your favorite butterfly?
I am a fan of I like moths quite a bit.
Okay.
I think moths are really, really cool. So the first one that came to my head when you were moths, but I'm a big fan of the Atlas moth. I think it is a beautiful, beautiful creature. It is like all of the beautiful earthy colors, and they're humongous. I am partial to my swallowtails, which is a whole big, huge family of different butterflies. We have the black ones with the pale blue and the yellow ones here. So I'm partial to those. The little, the rosy maple moths are the cutest little things in the world. Do you know which ones those are?
No, I'm going to Google it.
Oh, dude, they're not even real. They're not even real.
What is it? Rosy maple?
Rosy maple moth.
Oh my God. Holy shit.
Yeah. Aren't they cute? I've only found one before in the wild.
Starburst.
Yeah, and they're fuzzy. They get the little fuzzy. You
found one?
Yeah, I found one once. It was when I was up in Arkansas.
Oh boy.
They're cuties. So, but like, I just like butterflies. I think monarchs are gorgeous, even though they're kind of like, like they're big in Texas, and like, but they're interesting, and their migration is important and long and crazy. So yeah, I just let us respect our butterfly and moth friends. Be careful with caterpillars. Yes, they can be pesky. Find maybe gentle ways to relocate them. And if you find cocoons, leave them alone. Let the process continue on its own.
And also be careful touching caterpillars.
Caterpillars will fuck you up. Yeah, don't just handle caterpillars. Like, some can
Um,
really irritate you and some can be poisonous.
Also, if you ever happen to see anything coming out of a cocoon, leave it alone, let it do it by itself.
Yeah, it doesn't need your help.
Yeah. There's that really sad story that I'm sure a lot of people I remember I read it in, like, I think, like, high school or something, I don't know. But it was, like, a dude was in the hospital, and he had, like, gotten in an accident, and so he's, like, and his whole lower body's in a cast, and he can't move, and, like, he sees 3 butterflies starting to come out of their cocoon, and the last one was having trouble, and he was like, "Oh, I wanna help it because I don't want it to be like me and it can't move," and he cut it out. But if you do that, like, you hurt it. It doesn't
Mhm.
dry properly. Like, it doesn't form the things it needs to form, and then he, like, accidentally, like, permanently ruined the butterfly, and it makes me so sad. So, don't do that.
Yeah, just let nature do what nature does. It's
Yeah,
smarter than all of us.
yeah. Also, humans are really impatient about shit.
Yeah, well, and I think a lot of it does come from a want to help,
Yeah,
and to be
sure.
helpful, but it's like it also comes from an ego of thinking that we're what the situation needs, when very rarely are we what a
Oh
situation
god.
needs in nature.
I watched a group of children, um, watch chicken eggs hatch. And I gotta tell you, the rage these kids had that they weren't coming out faster was tangible.
Yeah, no, it's just human nature, I think. Which is funny because like we're useless until we're like 4, and these things come out immediately. So it's like we're fussy about the birthing, but it's like, what's impressive with these animals is that within minutes, like they're off and ready when we're a lump of useless flesh for years.
Forever. Forever.
Yeah.
You ever seen a fucking donkey be born? They're up and running around.
Dude, giraffes, and they fall
Yeah.
like 15 feet.
Yeah, and then they just stand up and keep going.
Yeah, and in like an hour. It's
And
wild.
then they're
So
doing your taxes the next day. It's crazy.
yeah, no, we got nothing. So let nature do her work, and that's it. That's all I've got on the butterfly.
Whoa. Man, one take Sally.
One take Sally. Not
How'd
bad.
she treat you?
I think this was better than our last one.
I think it's better than our edited episodes.
Yeah, it's really not that bad. And like we've been on our like we've not stumbled as much because I feel like we know we can't.
Stress is on.
Yeah. I'm a little sweaty.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that. I have a little bit I'm shaking a whole lot.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, I feel like I'm gonna throw up.
So it's done. I do before we depart, I want to talk about Anahata's purpose. We've got some sweet news for you.
So
So what?
okay. Go ahead.
And we ruined it. uh, so anyway, so Rachel of Anahata's, because she is a bean and she loves all of you beans, is opening up a special period of time starting March 15th of kind of like some exclusive ticket sales, especially for the beans. First dibs, okay? And so this is opening up for the beans, but something that is really neat to that is kind of in the works, but we're just going to kind of talk about it so it's known. And so if you do jump on this opportunity to get these tickets early, you can know that it's got a little nice little underbelly of helping somebody else. So
Underbelly never sounds, even though it's helpful, and I know for a fact a lot of you guys out there have said, like, have y'all ever thought about doing this? And I can't respond because I'm like, it's in the works. But like, underbelly makes it sound shady.
right, it kind of does. Yeah, it does because typically it is shady.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but this is something that has been kind of brought up before as something that would be really nice to do, and we're going to roll it out. So we are. We're going to try out this plan of kind of making a bit of a kind of like a scholarship fund, a bean scholarship fund. And this is a fund that will be fed for a couple of months, I think until May 31st or so. And upon which time that fund, this fundraised fund, will be then allocated into different tickets that can be applied or given away to. Like we haven't worked out the details on like how to enter and receive, like how all of that yet. But
so this is not like
this
an
is just the
announcement.
concept,
It's just,
But so y'all know, because the main reason I want to talk about this is because of the upcoming ticket sales. And so the upcoming ticket sales on the 15th, if you use the code all lowercase gift a witch, $10 of your ticket is going to go into this fund. And we've got some other tricks up our sleeve. We've got there's a serious, I think there's going to be big time demand, like for some tricks that we've got up our sleeves to help kind of grow this fund and whatnot. And it's kind of helping out you guys, and it's beans helping beans, So if you're able to go to Anahata's and you can grab up those tickets, and that's, able, do so and use that code. And let's try to maybe help send some others that cannot go for financial reasons, but would really need to go, love to go, grow from the experience, etc. So again, tickets, like special tickets come out on the 15th. Use the code gift a witch, put $10 of the ticket already. Let's get the fund rolling. We're going to raise as much as we can until the 31st, and stay tuned for more kind of fundraising things that we have coming.
And with the early ticket release to Just the Beans, first of all, that is so cool. It's specifically for us, for you guys, and for the WBAH community, because like the more people that go, the more people get to go. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like the more people that go, the more beans we're going to have, which is cool. And I know that seems like it's a very obvious conclusion to come to. Like the more beans that buy tickets, they're going to be beans. But the fact that we get our own little buying period just means that there's going to be a real banging community out there of the beans. And last time it was already so bean heavy.
Oh, hell yeah, dude.
This time, with like not only us having this kind of pre-buy period, also the people who will get to go for scholarship or whatever we end up calling it, and just you guys hearing from the other beans. Because last year was the first real year that we got to like go, and talk about it. And so after that, I feel like we're all kind of doing our, I don't want to say pyramid scheme duty, but we're all telling 3 friends, and then next year they're going to tell 3 friends. And I just feel like it's the bean can's going to grow every year. And that's awesome.
Yeah. And so let's send some people who might not otherwise be able to go. And we don't necessarily know, this might just be 1 or 2 people. We don't know yet, but help us grow this fund and grab up those tickets. Let's go up to the Bean Can, Sky Hill Cabins, homies. Yeah. And if you're going, we'll see you in September.
We'll sing Bohemian Rhapsody again.
Hell yeah, we will. That was so much fun. You were too busy choking.
I didn't get to participate, but all right, guys, if you would like to follow us on our social medias, you can come eat with us on Facebook at
Which Amateur Hour? I almost said Facebook.
At Facebook. Fine. We have an Instagram at
Which Bitch Amateur Hour.
We've got a Twitter,
Bitch Hour.
And we do have a Patreon as well. That's patreon.com/
wbah podcast. And y'all stay tuned. We've got the February bonuses coming soon.
Also, we have an email address where we would love for you guys to send us your spooky stories. It is not too long until the next spooky-sode happens. It's been quite a while since we've had one, I feel like, and we're getting ready. I'm getting geared up. I'm getting psyched for the spooky-sodes again.
Yeah, I've had my break. I've had my break from the big Halloween one that kind of makes me resent spooky-sodes a little bit, and now I'm back.
So send us some spooky stories. We'd love to feature them on upcoming episodes. That's wbahpodcast@gmail.com.
All right. What else? I think
looking for a new car. Which one's me?
A convertible or an SUV?
Or SUV. Little did I know my credit was whack.
Whack
Now I'm driving off the light
in a
with
used subcompact.
Yeah. FREE, that
Man,
spells free.
you never forget. Man, that's the shit. I have that in my brain, but I've forgotten such completely useful information.
Why? You know what? People, teachers of the world, not teachers, it's not, y'all, listen, we could talk about that. Education systems of the world, put things to catchy jingles.
Yeah, it's jingles. Bring back the jingle.
Bring back the jingle.
Bring back the jingle.
I mean, listen, we all got the fucking the mitochondria. We all know what that is.
Absolutely. And
that was meme-esque, it's sort of, it's not a jingle, but it was something.
It is now part of the collective unconscious.
Yeah. It wasn't the powerhouse of the cell until we made it that way.
Until it was. Yeah. That's how it happened. Weird.
Weird. Okay. I'm going to leave. I don't want to risk ruining One Take Sally. Let's get out of here. Let's post this app. Is there Coven Karaoke today?
I've changed it to be a floating day, so it is going to be tomorrow because I had a paper to finish today and I got to finish up packing the prints.
What are you going to do?
I don't know yet. What should I do?
I was looking for a new car.
Commercials. It'd be like the shortest Coven Karaoke in the world.
Oh my God, that would be so much fun though.
Do your favorite jingles.
Yeah. DQ, that's what I like about Texas.
Call 267-8433 because the next best thing to do is dial worth clean. Wink. All right. I'm gone, and y'all come to the Coven tomorrow to see what I wound up choosing for Coven Karaoke.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.